The point is, back in the day, I was terrified of cardio. I was terrified of cardio. To me, cardio meant you're going to get rid of your gains, which is absolutely ridiculous. You are going to make mistakes when lifting weights or going to the gym or when it comes to fitness. I mean, how could you not? Try and find anything in the world that you're interested in that at one point you don't look back and go, oh my gosh, why the hell did I do that? But remember, making a mistake is fine as long as you learn from it and just make sure you never do it again. Like there are some financial mistakes you can make where you put 100 quid onto something and realize, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But then you can twist it in your head and go, oh, it's okay because now I basically paid £100 to never do that again. So what I've done here is I have collaborated 10 things that I have made massive mistakes about when it comes to weightlifting and bodybuilding and fitness in the gym. And hopefully if I pass that on to you, you will then not make those same mistakes, or you'll hear them and go, oh, I think it's a good idea for me, and realize that it actually wasn't. So it's nice and simple. If you've never been on the channel before, please do hit that subscribe button. I would appreciate it. But other than that, here's 10 huge bodybuilding mistakes you don't want to make. And that, yes, I did make. Number 10, ignoring cardio. Now, look, if you have a designated or a specific goal in mind, e.g., you want to put on weight, then you should not be doing cardio. And if you're trying to lose fat, yes, you probably do need to do cardio. But I'm talking about it more from the health benefits of making sure that your cardiovascular exercise, that you're doing enough, basically. Because the point is, back in the day, I was terrified of cardio. I was terrified of cardio. To me, cardio meant you're going to get rid of your gains, which is absolutely ridiculous because we've said 1,000 times on this channel, if you burn 72,000 calories in a day, probably impossible, but you eat 73,000 calories in a day, then you're in a calorific surplus, so it doesn't even matter. But that's how I saw it. I was just so worried and so het up on this idea that I shouldn't be doing any cardio and I should just eat and eat and eat and get big and big and big, that I don't think it worked very well for me at all. And it makes it so much harder if you are doing the whole bulk cut process. When you come to cutting, when you've done zero cardio, cardio is hell. I mean, cardio is bad anyway. But if you're just introducing it out of nowhere, your body absolutely does not want to do it. And now I do cardio every single day because I actually get quite a bit of a kick out of it. It sets me up for the next 24 hours. I just like it. And I make sure I balance it out by what I eat depending on what my current goals are. So yeah, I mean, I went so far out of my way not to do it too, to the point I would try keto diet and I would try intermittent fasting. And those diets do work. But if you are doing them to try and lose weight, you absolutely do need to do some cardiovascular exercise too. You just do. And it doesn't have to be running or a treadmill or a cross trainer. Again, you can do MMA, you can do boxing, you can do wrestling. You can find what works for you. But make sure you know what your specific goal is. But yeah, don't buy into this idea that cardio is death and cardio is bad and cardio is going to like suck your muscles up. It's very unlikely it's going to happen, and you can do it faster. That's what I do. It starts my day off well. You can do it after the gym. You can do it before you go to bed. You can do it at 2:30 p.m. in the afternoon. It really doesn't matter. You have to find out what works for you. And let's just say you do enter a scenario where you do think it's burning too much muscle. We'll take a step back, look at your documents, look at your numbers, your statistics, and you'll figure it out. You'll be able to work it out, but cardio is not bad. Number 9, getting really fat. That sounds weird, but genuinely, when I first started to lift weights, I thought what I'm going to do is I'm just going to eat everything and anything, and I'm going to put on as much size as I possibly can, and then we'll just see where we're at. And I did work. I'm not going to pretend otherwise. I built quite a good base for myself, but I was also rotund. Like I was a big fat guy, and I didn't see it for ages. You can find videos from years ago where I am just bloaty face Bill. Like it's absolutely terrible. And you know, some people can get away with it. There's a bodybuilder called Lee Priest who basically just ate KFC on his off season, and he gets really fat, but he knows he has the genetics and the willpower when it comes to cutting to balance it out. And I guess this kind of ties into the cardio thing. If you're all right and you think you're going to be okay to do that and you want to go one extreme to the next, then awesome. But I just don't advocate for it at all. It didn't work for me. It just made life so much harder than it needed to be. And yeah, I was just a big fat guy. Was I going to the gym to be a big fat guy? No. I mean, was I quite strong? And did I have muscle? Yes. Could anyone see it? No. So again, it all depends on what you're training for. But yeah, don't buy into this thing where it's just like, oh, I'm just going to eat. Like I was having scones for breakfast at one day. Like I thought I was some kind of power lifter. What a moron. Again, maybe your body can handle it, but I have talked to other people that say, oh, I'm going to bulk up. I'm just going to eat loads of food. And I'm like, no, man, eat the right foods. Because if you eat the right foods, not only are you going to feel better, and again, it really is about your general day-to-day and your life and your lifestyle, but also when you have that cheat meal on a Saturday or Friday night, you're going to enjoy it even more, and it will serve as that dangling carrot to make sure that you don't go off plan. Like that's one of the reasons we have the cheat meal. If it's Thursday and you want to eat some nachos, you go, oh, I'll just hold on 24 hours and I'll have them tomorrow. And then your brain rewards you for it and you feel better. So basically, don't get fat. Number 8, not measuring food. Like outside, of what you're eating and going to the gym, you got to measure your food. And I keep it nice and simple. Again, if you never watched my stuff, I go for the simple approach. I know there's a science there, but there's plenty of guys out there who can do that better than me. If you don't measure your food, how do you know how much food to take away when it is time to get lean or it is time to get ripped? Like, you can't, if you're just like 2 handfuls of rice every day and then you try and do a handful and a half, you can't, your human eye can't work out how much rice you're grabbing. Like, it's impossible. So you absolutely need to be weighing your food. And you need to be quite meticulous with it as well. So even if you're going to put ketchup on your food, weigh it. Weigh it. If I want to put 15 grams of ketchup on my food, I weigh out 15 grams of ketchup on my food. I have that no added sugar and salt one. And I know that's only 5 calories. And you don't need to be too anal with it, depending on, what you're doing day to day. But most things you do want to weigh, because otherwise you have no idea where you're at. And if you have no idea where you're at, you don't know when to go. It works both ways too. If you're trying to put on weight and muscle and you don't know what you're eating, how do you know what else to add in? You don't. You can't. I mean, you can try and guess, I suppose. But this is the problem when you're sort of out and about too. You can grab a sandwich and look at the calories and it says 450 calories. They don't know that for sure because not every single sandwich has been made exactly the same. So yeah, count your calories. I didn't count my calories for a while. I just thought I could eat. And also make sure you're counting the right calories. I was such a buffoon that, I was actually eating the cooked amount of rice when I was meant to be eating the uncooked amount of rice. I mean, that's just stupid. There's no two ways about it, but I wasn't even thinking about it. So make sure you're smart and yeah, make sure you're counting up those numbers. Number 7, thinking because I worked out that I could just eat loads. Kind of ties into 10 and 9 as we've already talked about, but this goes back to the point where I'm out and about and I feel like I need to get some food in because it's been however long and I would just reach for a sandwich or whatever. And if you eat bad food, you can't out-train a bad diet, basically, is what I'm trying to say. And I think there was a period in my life where I totally believed that I could. I was like, well, I'm doing all this exercise and I'm pushing myself here, blah, blah, blah. Your body can't handle it after a while. It just can't. Like, if you're eating copious amounts of fats and carbohydrates, or even just way too much protein, it will store as fat. And that's not what we want. There's nothing wrong with being fat, for the record. If you want to be fat, more power to you. As long as you're happy deep down, that's all that matters. But yes, I certainly got into this what's the right word, routine, I suppose, where I just thought I could get away with it, and you can't. So, I mean, some people can, again, if you have the right genetic makeup, but I'm talking about the average person on the street, which I absolutely am. Just stay away from it. Understand that your diet is important and stick to your diet as best you can. Number 6 is testosterone boosters. I know some people will debate this one, and that's fine. You do you. I think they are a giant waste of time. Half the time, the stuff they have in them is just like vitamin B6, which, yeah, may raise your testosterone a little bit, but you can just go buy vitamin B6 from your local health food shop for far less than what these people are going to charge you when you buy specific testosterone boosters. Look, I did it. I would buy all this stuff that, you could get, and it said, it's going to send your testosterone levels to the roof. None of it worked. All it does is give you a bunch of side effects. All it does is empty your wallet when there's no point, and you never really see the progress that you're looking for them. There are so many other things you should focus on before you go down there. And let's say that you do find a testosterone booster that works. And I don't believe there is one exists that you can just buy over the counter. If that does happen, your estrogen is going to go up. And because obviously testosterone converts to estrogen. So are you taking the right stuff to keep that in check? No, probably not. So you're going to look worse either way. Also, not everybody needs crazy amounts of testosterone. You may be able to deal with the testosterone you've got. Again, it all comes down to you. But I should have put this as number 1 maybe. I tried it so many times because I bought into this idea, this magic idea of testosterone, and that someone was just going to sell it to me in this box over the counter. I don't think they work. I think they're all crap, like Tribulus. Tribulus, absolute nonsense. Don't even worry about it. I know the comments will be going crazy. There's always one guy that is so into testosterone boosters, and I'm not saying it can't help you 1 to 2%. Maybe it can, but that is not worth paying upwards of £70, £80 or $100 based on a promise. It's just not worth it. There's so many other things that you can spend that money on, especially food. Healthy food costs a fortune. Worry about healthy food. Number 5 is the loading of creatine. You still see this on the side of tubs, and it drives me nuts. It goes, you have to take 72 million grams. I said this the other day. You have to take 72 million grams for the first 10 days, and then you can go down to 5 grams. Bullshit. I take 5 grams a day. That's all I take. And I bought into it too when I first saw it. And I remember I first did it at university. That's when I started taking creatine. And doing this crazy loading phase bloated me so much. For years, I was convinced I couldn't take creatine. I was like, my body can't handle it. My body doesn't like it. No, it can't handle that much at once, but you don't need to do that. Creatine exists inside you already. So if you supplement with it, your body and your brain are going to know what to do with it. You don't have to go overboard. As far as I'm concerned, just personal opinion, and I'm sure somebody will find a study. I'm talking about from my experience. The only reason companies say that is to get you to use more creatine so that you have to buy more sooner than you would do otherwise. And then I say, years later, when I did try and go on it and just tried 5 grams of creatine monohydrate a day, everything was fine. And I saw a little bit of a boost in the gym. I kind of think that theory has died off a lot, but if you do see it, you don't need to do it. Just 5 grams whenever you want throughout the day. If it's going to work, it will great. And if not, don't worry about it. Again, it's just a little bit of a help. Number 4, not eating enough veg. This is still a thing for some people. And obviously you should be eating as much green veg as you can. But even if you don't like green veg, like, I don't know, broccoli, green beans, kale, spinach, whatever, just have vegetables. Does carrots have sugar in it? Yes. Does sweet corn have sugar in it? Yes. But are they full of vitamins and nutrients that are going to help you feel healthy and help you in the gym and just help you day-to-day life? Yes. And that is far more important. It's like the ketchup we were talking about earlier. Just figure out the calories that are in those vegetables. And if you really want to be that specific, balance it out elsewhere throughout your diet. You absolutely need vegetables. That's why professional healthcare people are saying you should have 5 a day. And especially if you're putting your body through the rigmarole of training and you're not getting 5 a day, something doesn't add up there. So again, if you're training for a bodybuilding competition, maybe you want to stay away from carrots and maybe you want to stay away from sweet corn. But again, there's plenty of other ones you can have that are basically, you know, nothing is net zero, but you get near to that point. But I bought into this ridiculous idea. I just wasn't eating enough vegetables. And as soon as I started eating more vegetables, I felt better within myself. When you feel better within yourself, you're going to be training better. Ipso facto, eat your veg. Tying into that is number 3, and that is thinking that fruit was bad. And this all comes to this idea that fruit has fructose in it, which is basically sugar. Again, I'm breaking it right down to basics here, as we've already talked about. But not only can you still do the same thing with your diet where you think, well, I'm getting all this fruit in here, so I make sure I won't eat this. It is good for you. Again, that's why you're meant to have 5 a day, because fruit will do wonderful things for you. And ever since I introduced the likes of bananas and blueberries into my diet, this was years ago, have I seen any huge negative effects? No. Has it majority been positive? Yes. Blueberries especially are an antioxidant. Banana's going to give you more potassium. That will do you good. Make sure you're getting your fruit in there. If you're really worried about it, just have it post-workout, and hopefully your body will just go, and eat it all up because you've trained hard enough. But I did this too. I was like, oh no, I can't eat fruit because there's sugar in fruit, blah, blah, blah. And obviously fructose is miles better than synthetic sugar that you're going to get in sweets and whatnot. But you still see people advocating, oh, I have Haribo before I work out, but I won't touch that banana and apple. That's crazy. Have a banana, have a blueberry, have an apple, have strawberries, have whatever the hell you want. And again, just make sure you track what you're eating. Then it doesn't really matter anyway. Number 2 is the milk diet. I still see people on the internet saying they're doing the milk diet. And hey, I ain't going to badmouth it if it's good for you. But I tried the milk diet, and you know what happened? I got really fat. Milk has loads of sugar in it. Milk doesn't have that much protein in it, as though some people will pretend that it does. It bloats you. It makes you feel bad. I'm not saying you shouldn't have milk. I'm saying do whatever the hell you want. But if you ever see these articles on the internet that say, oh, just drink milk instead of water all the time and you'll put on loads of weight. Yes, you will, but it's rarely good weight. Or again, that's my experience of it. So I thought I'd mention it in case you've seen it, in case you're thinking of doing it because you're brand new. Don't do the milk diet. Number 1 is overstressing about missing meals. Now, this definitely pertains to me specifically and personally, but I, at one point in my life, took it all way too seriously. Now, you do have to be serious about it if you want to see, want to evolve and develop. But I would be out with friends, for example, and if I thought I was going to miss a meal, I'd kind of freak out about it and get stressed. There's nothing wrong with meal prep. I'm not saying that. You absolutely have to meal prep if you want to get into this properly. Sunday night, cook out your meals for a week or 3 days, whatever works for you. And, when I go to the cinema, I'll bring a box of chicken or I'll bring some cottage cheese. I still do that, and people look at me like I'm weird. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about sacrificing everything to try and make sure that you're 100% on it 100% of the time. That's just not realistic. And more importantly, you're not going to enjoy that. And my big takeaway from all my videos is if you're not enjoying it, it's not worth it. We only get one shot at life as far as we know, and we should make inroads to be as happy as possible. And there was a time when I just got so wound up about it. So wound up about it with the back of my mind. I'd be looking at my watch or the time, the clock, and just freaking out about where my next kind of food was going to be coming from. I'm not going to sit here and say it didn't help. It probably did, being that meticulous, but I was not having a good time. Don't do that. Your body can get away with it. It really, really can. It's quite robust, your body. It's quite durable. It's not, and you don't even really have to eat every 2 to 3 hours. Like, I do like doing that. I just feel like it works for me. But know how many calories you want to get in a day. And if you know you've got a busy day, just try and figure it out. I'll have breakfast here. I'll have my second meal here. Maybe I'll only have 3 meals today because I know I can only work in 3 meals, but I make sure I get this, 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 and therefore it's added all up. It may not work for you every day, but it's just going to give you a little bit of a let off when you are running around, because you can't outbeat life. Life will always kick your ass. That's what it does, no matter what your hobby is. So don't do that. I did it for way too long. I wouldn't say I regret it because I learned a lot from it, but if I could turn the clock back, I would not do it again. And I would teach myself sooner, hey man, look, you got away with it. You're still alive. So that's number 1. And that's that. That's the end of the video. Thanks for watching. As always, make sure you check out some other fitness videos. Hopefully there'll be links here, there, and everywhere that you can click. Please do subscribe to the channel. All of this is thanks to patreon.com/Simon316. A salute to everyone that joined up this week. The channel dies without Patreon. Not going to lie. Make no money from YouTube without that. So if you could support, that would be great. Even $1 would rock. I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Simon316 if you want to call me a bald asshole. And I'll see you again soon.